Hello, my name is McKenna and my partner for this project is Jett, and we are reading the novel Lord of the Flies, and we were assigned Chapter 3, which is called Huts on the Beach. Our teacher is Miss Hahn, and we are in 4th period. Ralph, Simon, and Jack are the main characters in this chapter. All the main characters are very different and very complex. Ralph is a character who is a leader and resembles authority and uses his power for good, and to keep his friends alive wants to build a community or a shelter on the beach. During this chapter, Ralph is trying to build huts for their shelter on the beach. Jack's character is resembled to be a character who is stubborn, and mainly in the chapter it shows the most. Ralph doesn't agree with Jack because Ralph thinks that the shelter is the most important thing right now and the thing that they should focus on the most. And Jack thinks that hunting is the bigger priority when they have been hunting for a while and still haven't gotten anything. So Ralph thinks it's a waste of time, which causes conflict between them. Ralph and Jack are fighting over something completely irrelevant, and that conflict between characters is the thing that drives Simon away. Ralph is the leader and he is supposed to handle the conflict instead of making it worse. Everybody sees Ralph as a leader, and he has developed more since Chapter 1 because more people respect him, but things like driving Simon away because of unneeded conflict is not going to help his leader status.
The majority of this chapter, the setting is on the island near their main home area, because that is where Ralph and Simon are building their huts for shelter. The other setting in this chapter is the forest, where Jack is hunting. Jack thinks he is helping Ralph by hunting in the forest, but really, Ralph thinks that he is building the huts on the beach for their shelter is more important. The imagery for the different settings portray different things because they both portray hard work. For Jack, it makes you think about somebody scavenging for food, and this line in the chapter brings out the most imagery. By the trunk of the vast tree that grew pale flowers on its gray bark, he checked, closed his eyes, and once more drew in the warm air. And this time, his breath came short. There was even a passing pallor in his face. And then the surge of blood came again. He passed like a shadow in the darkness of the tree and crouched, looking down at the trodden ground at his feet. This passage really shows a lot of imagery, and it shows what the author was trying to portray with the different sides of Ralph building the huts and then Jack being hunting in the woods.
All right, our first analysis question is, why do you think Jack wants to go against Ralph when they might not have much more time to live? And this is important because, who needs unnecessary conflict when they don't know how much time they might have to live or how many resources they might be able to obtain? For our analysis question number 2, whose side would you be on in this situation between Ralph and Jack? Which character's side would you take, Ralph or Jack? Which one do you agree with more and why?
For analysis question number 3, it is, why do people feel the need to pick fights? Why do people, even of the nicest nature, tend to pick fights when they don't, when it doesn't help anything? Why do we all have that I am right nature and not the, okay, maybe what they're saying is right? Why would they pick fights when they really don't have that much time left and they need to do other things rather than have conflicts? Just for an overview of the chapter, the main things that went on is the conflict with Jack and Ralph regarding hunting and building the huts. Ralph believed that it was more important to build the huts, but Jack wanted to keep hunting even though they hadn't caught anything yet, and that's what drove Simon away.
The quote for Jack that we used in Chapter 3 from Huts on the Beach is, "We want meat." This shows Jack's side of the argument and shows what he wants in this situation. Verse what Ralph wants, and Ralph's quote is, "We need shelters," showing his side of the argument, which is, in his opinion, the more important side and the more priority side.
So this quote for the setting describes the imagery, and I already read it earlier, so I won't read it again. But it's just things like pale flowers, gray bark, and it really describes his breathing and everything that's happening. He passed like a shadow under the darkness of the tree and crouched, looking down at the trodden ground at his feet. It really makes you feel exactly what Jack is doing in the situation.
Thanks for watching our
Love
Lord
ya!
of the Flies project. Thank you.